This recording from 1U Lincolnshire is all about alcohol. We will consider the role that alcohol plays in our lives, considering reasons why people might consume alcohol. We will look at the government guidelines for low-level drinking and what it means to binge drink. We will look at how alcohol affects health in both the short term and the long term, what it means to have a relationship with alcohol and what can influence alcohol misuse, and finally, steps that can be taken to reduce alcohol consumption. If we first consider reasons why people might consume alcohol, you can see from the list that there are a number of things that could be considered triggers for alcohol misuse, and this is not an exhaustive list. Some of the most common reasons why people drink alcohol can be seen here. To manage stress, and stress can come from many areas of our lives, such as family, work, and general responsibilities. It can be used as a coping mechanism, something that can help you relax or unwind from the day. It can be a substitute for relationships and be seen to help combat loneliness in the short term. You could feel pressure to drink from your peers. Even someone buying you an alcoholic drink can indirectly put pressure on you to drink it and join in. You might enjoy the taste or the confidence it temporarily gives you to socialise. Alcohol might help dull the negative thoughts you have about yourself or the situation you are in, or you might drink simply through boredom. In order to understand what we are drinking, we need to know what ABV and units are. Different drinks have different strengths and contain different amounts of pure alcohol. ABV is the number represented by a percentage that we see on bottles of alcohol. It shows how much alcohol is in a given volume. 1 unit is equivalent to 10 mils of pure alcohol. Most alcoholic drinks contain number of units on the labelling. However, if this is not the case, you can work out the number of units you are consuming using the following formula. ABV times volume divided by 1,000. Government guidelines suggest that 14 units per week is the maximum we should be drinking. Despite previously being different, this figure is the same for both men and women. This is what 14 units looks like. Approximately 6 pints per week, or 6 glasses of wine, or 14 single spirit measures per week. Regularly drinking above 14 units a week increases the risk of experiencing alcohol-related harm. If you are male, you are considered to be binge drinking when you consume 8 or more units on a single occasion. For a woman, when you consume 6 or more units on a single occasion. Despite being able to consume 14 units per week, guidance is not to consume all of your units in one go, but to spread these out over the week and, where possible, have 2 alcohol-free days. With 1 pint of 4% beer equating to 2.3 units, and 175 millilitres of 13% wine also equating to 2.3 units, that's approximately 2.5 pints or glasses of wine for 6 units, and 3.5 pints or glasses of wine for 8 units. We are now going to take a look at the health implications associated with consuming alcohol. So, what do we know about how alcohol intake affects our health? Here, the effects on our health have been split into short-term and long-term effects. Again, this is not an exhaustive list. The short-term effects are mostly associated with the typical hangover. They show themselves whilst intoxicated, hang around for a day or two, and then symptoms usually disappear once drinking has stopped. In the short term, people can experience slurred speech, sickness or nausea, and painful headaches. Drinking alcohol can impair people's judgments and often encourage them to make poor decisions. They can experience mood swings and have difficulty concentrating. It's estimated that between £1.2 and £1.4 billion is lost each year due to people being less productive at work due to the effects of alcohol consumption. Long-term alcohol misuse can also have more serious effects on our health. The most well-known is damage to the liver, with over 7,000 people dying of liver disease in the UK each year. Alcohol has also been linked to some cancers, such as mouth and throat cancers and cancer of the pancreas. Research suggests that for women, 1 bottle of wine has the same cancer risk as smoking 10 cigarettes. Alcohol is a depressant and can exacerbate the symptoms of anxiety and depression, as well as be identified as a causal factor in diagnosis of people with long-term alcohol use. Men who regularly drink are at risk of cardiac arrhythmias, where the heart beats too quick or too slow. At just 2 units a day, they have a 13% greater risk, and at 5 units a day, a 34% greater risk. Alcohol can also alter the size and shape of the brain and cause problems with concentration and memory. The absorption of vital nutrients such as vitamin B is inhibited, and our quality of sleep is affected. Alcohol can also affect other parts of our lives. It can affect our relationships. With partners or children, it doesn't discriminate. It can affect our finances, with the average spend on alcohol per household coming in at just under £1,000 a year. And it can affect our employment aspirations too. So what's the motivation to drink? Beer and other alcoholic drinks have for a very long time been marketed as a necessary component for having a good time or to relax. But what else makes them attractive? Alcohol is easily accessible for one. Not only can you now purchase alcohol from a number of different premises, it can also be delivered to your home too, via home shopping or takeaway services. And there's a huge variety on offer. Although some off-licences are unable to sell super strength beers and lagers, you can still get your hands on a variety of beers, ciders and spirits. Lots of drinks now come in a range of flavours, which can also be enticing, with new flavours being on offer and often in attractive bottles. Offers and promotions on alcohol can also be seen throughout different premises, especially around sporting events and celebrations such as Christmas. But even without promotions, the cost of alcohol can be fairly cheap. For example, it's possible to buy a bottle of strong cider containing the equivalent of 22 shots of vodka for just £3.59. At this price, it's possible to consume more than the recommended weekly limit of alcohol for the cost of a small latte in Starbucks. So what does it mean to have a relationship with alcohol? You can be considered to have a relationship with alcohol when you are no longer using it for enjoyment purposes, but rather to avoid negative feelings or create positive ones. For example, you may have started to use alcohol as a means to relax in the evening or to mask stress. A relationship with alcohol does not necessarily indicate a physical dependency on the substance. Here are some questions you may wish to ask yourself when reflecting on your own relationship with alcohol. What, when and how much do I drink? Has my drinking pattern changed? And are you able to take that one step further and identify when this may have changed and what was going on at the time? What is it you aim to achieve when you are drinking? What is important to you and how has drinking affected this? If it hasn't, great, but what would the impact be if you continued to drink? And finally, if you reduced your alcohol consumption, how might things improve? If you made the decision to reduce your drinking, what steps do you think you would take? Here is a list, again not exhaustive, of things you might want to do to help reduce your unit intake. Plan to have minimum 2 alcohol-free days a week. Remind yourself of the benefits of making changes. Choose a lower alcohol percentage beverage. Sip your drinks slowly. Avoid unfamiliar drinks. Only drink at designated times. Alternate alcoholic drinks with non-alcoholic drinks. And use a measuring beaker when drinking at home. Other things such as identifying hobbies can also be a great distraction. If you would like further advice and information, visit your GP or 1U Lincolnshire today.